Hey there. Welcome to the Simple Podcast. I'm Todd C. Slater, the Simple Investor. Hey, you know what? I had to hang on to my two guests from my show, my two panelists that join me every single month, and flip them over to the podcast. Because you know what? We were sitting there. We were having such amazing conversations. And then we went, hang on, we can't say this on air. But guess what? We can say it right here on the Simple Podcast. I've got Tim Syrianos joining me. I've got Dave Butler in-house as well. And hey, look, you know, one of the things that's been happening, of course, is the continued BS that's flowing out of all the political mouths right now. I mean, it's unbelievable. You know what? They're throwing down budgets. They're throwing down promises. They're throwing down numbers. I don't know what else they're going to throw down. You know what? They just keep adding to the pile. And again, we know what that pile is full of. But let's take a look at what Chrystia Freeland, that's right, our Deputy Prime Minister, hey, the financial minister, comes out to say.
The job of our tax system is to lean against this structural inequality, to fund investments in the middle class, especially in young Canadians, by asking those who are benefiting from the winner-takes-all economy to pay a little bit more.
Wow. Okay. So, hey, let's tax the rich and give to the who? You know, Tim, I got to tell you, you know, when I hear stuff like this, it makes me sick. She's sitting there saying the middle class, like they're unaffected by this, by their budget, by everything else that's going on. I beg to differ. I think the middle class is getting reamed just like everybody else. And according to this government, they think they're doing it right.
Well, I mean, in my humble opinion, I don't think that they're actually going after the people that they're supposed to be going against. They're actually going against the people that they're trying to protect. So in this case right now, what we're seeing is they're paintbrushing that anybody who owns another property or anybody who's had generational property or a cottage or anything else like that, or if you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, you're bad. You know, like you're just not a good person, and you're avoiding. You're in tax evasion or you're avoiding taxes, and you have benefits that other people don't. When in reality, the most of the people that we work with on a day-to-day basis, the entrepreneurs, the young people who are trying to get ahead, they basically bought themselves a job, right? They work in a certain environment where they're paying their bills, and all the costs around them are increasing. But here comes the government saying, don't invest, don't become an entrepreneur, don't be in that space because it's bad for you. It's bad that you're doing that, right? So. And it doesn't look like, the politician on her immediate right was really impressed or really buying into her messaging, because it seemed like she was ready to yawn at that moment. I don't know if you saw that, but I was watching.
Well, that's how I feel about this party and everything that they're saying. Dave, it's getting long in the tooth. I mean, they have made promises. They keep talking. I mean, they talk out of all sides of the mouth, and yet they keep forgetting how a successful country needs to be, driven, and in the same breath, talking about taxation, thinking, and this is coming out of COVID, thinking that corporations made off like bandits when that wasn't even close. I mean, more companies closed, more companies went into debt, small businesses, doctors, everybody. There had never been a level of debt that was taken on like it has been the last few years.
Yeah, look, I think it's quite rich for the current government to stand up and wave a flag saying that they're here to help the middle class, when I think statistically, if you were to look back from 2015 until now, the destruction of the middle class has probably been at its highest level under this current government. So it is quite rich that they're saying that. But then if you actually look into the message and you look at, how they're breaking all this down, I mean, we've already talked about this. The middle class is getting more hurt by this capital gains than, in my opinion, the uber rich. The way that they've set this up is actually completely destructive to your average small business owner. And sadly, the solution is not the solution that we need in this country. If anything, and we talked about this on the show earlier, the capital gains should have came down. And that would have actually promoted more people that are currently in positions where they're struggling with the rental property to be able to sell it. Now these people are looking at it going, I'm stuck. I can't sell it. I pay too much taxes. it's almost as if they've gone backwards with this particular capital gains. But look, at the end of the day, I think we all can agree this current government has made a lot of missteps. I don't sit here thinking that they're all of a sudden in the last year, hopefully, of their term, that they're going to make changes. I think now what we're sadly watching is their public display of how to get votes, because they are very, very behind.
Look, incompetence can be looked at several ways. And in this case, this budget has not been passed yet. Okay. More importantly, I defy and want to encourage everybody that's going to stand up against this, so hopefully the Conservative Party does, the NDP, some of the, even the free-for-all people, look, stand up for something that, Canadians actually deserve. And that is a break